probably the one event that has really progressed a lot from the early years. They've changed that many saddles and riding styles. My dad actually did the tail end of the first top saddle, and then he did the A saddle, and then at the end of that one, he started in 1958 and riding bulls in 1981. I think he got on his last bull, so that was a really tough one for him because he had to learn to ride all three of the saddles. So one of our greatest champions is Ray Herman from out of Warwick. And there's a little spotlight with him. 5 or 6 times was the Australian champion and dominated from the time he was like 20 years old. He won the Big World Championship in Sydney in 1978. They just couldn't stop him. And he's still as bow-legged as they come when you run into him. He's a racehorse trainer out in Warwick, and pretty much all those Western Queensland country races, he'll have races, horses on show. So just come on around. This is the cowgirl side. Has a little rundown of the barrel racing and how the original, that's the proper measured course, 60 feet from the start line to the first drum, 90 feet across, 90 feet from the centre right up to the third drum, and that's for an official record time. If they're obviously, depending on arena sizes, they can't all be official courses, and hence there's only a few times that you'll actually see that it's an official barrel racing course, and at the moment the record's here at 782, which is pretty good. Started off as the Girls Rodeo Association back in the late 60s when they first actually introduced girls events. There used to be a few lady bronc riders over the years, especially in like Kitty Gill and that type of generation, and that dates right back into the 40s and 50s, and they rode in front of the Queen and the Duke and all that sort of thing. So yeah, now this is our founding father wall basically. Aaron Williams, a lot of people don't realise that he was actually our first secretary treasurer of the association. It was him and Basil Golan, and there was one other fella who's actually mentioned on the front as you come through. They were the three that initiated the Australian Rough Riders Association at a coffee shop in South Australia, or Sydney, I think it might have been south of Sydney actually, in 1944 on New Year's Eve, and that was when the ARRA was formed. They just reckoned they needed a governing body of professional rodeo because of the amount of events that were springing up all around the countryside for bragging rights and who was the toughest bronc rider and bullock rider at the time, and so on. And so RM was our first secretary treasurer. So I think he stayed in that realm for at least a dozen years. These are our rookie champions that we've recognised since we brought in the award. Our latest is from WA, Jared Oversley, and he's having a really good season in the United States and Canada at the moment. On the title with campaign. 2 event categories right there, like horses and bulls. So the 2 most physical events in rodeo. And a lot of the guys are at various disciplines, whether they be on the time event end or the rough stock end. It's been pretty well mixed and matched really when you look at the rookie name. Shane Kenny, the top time event cowboy. Most decorated Australian professional cowboy of all time. With 14 all-round championships to his name. Just doesn't seem to age, I reckon. He's like 40, 41 now, so he's still picked up the win in the steer wrestling with now and second in the rough and died. Alright. That's steer wrestling. It's known as the big men's event. And Neville McCarthy's got the most titles, 6 steer wrestling titles in the APRA, ARRA. And Neville had successful runs in the United States too. Probably the first Aussie to really do well in the steer wrestling competition in the US to win big money. He won Reno one year, and he threw down 3 steers in just under 12 seconds. So that's 4 seconds a run, so it's pretty impressive. Anyway, we'll pop over here to the other barn. But they really do a good job. And our current champ, Rodeo, is on to us now the last couple of years. He's the nephew of the great name Rodeo is back in the 80s. So yes. He's run the title, Shane Kennedy, about the all-round titles. He's also dominated in the rugby title. He's won about 10 of those championships. And is really integral in keeping the sport inclusive in rodeo, because he's worked really long and hard at developing a device to lessen the chances of a calf getting flipped over on its back. Like you used to see that in people, you know. And so he's actually devised a release. It's like a slow tension release mechanism, a little bit like the guys that when they're rock climbing. It's in that sort of realm. It's developed off of that, and it really is working quite well. For the amount of times that we rope calves, and it's really, you know, all tribute to him. He's a good advocate for the sport of rodeo. Here's another little video. It's got a little bit more refined. It's still as wild as they come. There's a personal difference here. With the bareback riding, you can see the wild old original rigging, right up to a little bit closer to what the new ones are like. Very, very solid, whereas that original one was what they call the sloppy handled rigging, and really was. So you could imagine if you had a really, really tough horse, how much pressure was on your arm. So you used to see a lot bigger type fellas riding bareback horses than what you do now, because basically you run your hand in and it locks it. When you close it and stand it up, it's not supposed to come out. And so all you have to worry about is staying up against it and doing the right thing with your feet to take the pressure off of it. You know, some of our top cowboys are listed in the back there. Tony Hexie is probably the most recent of the really fantastic bareback riders that we've seen. And it seemed like he won Mount Isa, I don't know, about 7 occasions, and he used to use that money for a trip to the States every year, and then he'd go over there, ride for about 3 months, and then come home, and so on and so forth. So yeah, you can see Alan Hicks and Ross and Piper, a few other big legends. This is a bit of a tribute ball for Chilasini, who obviously was a great cowboy at both ends of the ring, rode bulls and saddle monks, calf roping, went on to be one of the all-time great cutting horse trainers and cutters to win many championships, and that was only just a couple of years ago that he passed away, but he left a legacy in rodeo, that's for sure, with some of the great horses, Baby Doll and Chico, that he used to travel with. All round the wall, all the way around. We're just finishing up the latest one, Shane Icons picked up another all-round title here in 2014, so we tried to have a photo of every one of the cowboys, and a few of them obviously doubled up, so we're just getting things tidied up here in the last few days. Then we pop around this one. Quick tour of this one. This actual barn recognises the cowboys from Australia that went on with the National Finals Rodeo in the United States. And Glenn O'Neill up in the top corner on this other side, he's just been inducted into the Pro Rodeo Cowboys Hall of Fame in Colorado Springs in the United States, and he actually ended up being the first cowboy ever to win national titles in 3 different countries. He won the Australian title back in 1992, he went on to win the world in 2002, and actually 2000 he won the Canadian bronc riding title as well. He also holds the biggest point ride in Canada at 95 points on a horse called Aero from Minnesota. And funny story about that, I actually rode bulls there the day after he did that, so that was like the biggest news since sliced bread in the rodeo world. And some of our great cowboys, yeah, these all went to the national finals, either in Oklahoma City or Las Vegas. Troy Dunn obviously ended up winning the PBR world title, but he also went as high as third in the PRCA in bull riding race. Darryl Cohen from right here in Warwick, fantastic saddle bronc rider, went to the finals in 72, 73 in that period alongside of Jimmy Dix, who was the first Australian to make it to the national finals rodeo as a bareback rider, and finished I think in the top 5 at least 4 times through that late 60s, early 70s period. Darryl Diefenbach, he's one of the odd ones, he's a bullfighter, and he also represented Australia at the national finals rodeo. But Adam Newman and Dave Appleton ended up winning an all-round title, and he was originally from Clermont, in the Red Dirt country in Central Queensland. And Clarkie went to the national finals 5 times in bareback. Greg Potter's a good mate of mine. He also won the national finals average in bull riding in 2003. And here's the bull riding wall, and the guy that's won the most titles is Barry Rodeo, with 5 championships. And he was well and truly into his 40s when he come out of retirement and still did really well. Had a couple of big playing rodeos, both in steer wrestling and in bull riding. Really was pretty awesome. That gives you a really brief overview of what it's all about. And what we're looking to do is add a little bit more flavour to the characters that aren't just champions, and also to show some respect to some of the great committee members. And pickup men as well. How's she going? So yeah, big things in the works. You know, I mean, I've only just got into the hot seat system in June, so this is my first little project. Hope you enjoy the night. Have a little friend. This is the best kept secret in the world, but we're going to let that secret out. We're not afraid to do some good stuff in here.